What's up, everybody? James Ng here, Biblical Success Coach. I help entrepreneurs get unstuck, win more, and hustle less. And today we're going to be diving into a Bible study on how to achieve your miraculous breakthrough. And if that sounds like something interesting to you, like this, share this, and also subscribe to our YouTube if you have not yet done so. We put these plus everything else up there as well too to help you to be able to break through in your life. And I wonder if you are in need of not just a breakthrough right now, but a miraculous breakthrough, something where God shows up powerfully in your life. And I wonder what that is for you. Something in your health, perhaps, something in your relationship, something in your finances, something in your business. And I want to dive into a principle that is found all throughout Scripture that people that achieved miracles in their lives did whenever they achieved miracles. So if that sounds like something interesting, we're going to dive into that today. And heads up, this is an excerpt from a book that I'm launching called The Miraculous Breakthrough Formula, the 7-day challenge, biblically guaranteed to get you unstuck and achieve the impossible. So how does this work? Well, I'm going to go through, if you think about miracles, what's going on, Daniel? If you think about miracles, the person that comes to mind, there's a lot of people that have done a lot of amazing things in this world, but whether you believe Jesus is who he said he was, it is documented that this guy walked around this planet and he did some pretty cool stuff, right? Even Muslims in their book know of Jesus, right? Even in Roman history, they have documented that this guy Jesus lived. And they all say the same thing, that he's done some pretty spectacular stuff. So if there is a miracle maker, that would be Jesus. So what did he do? Well, this is what's so fascinating, right? And I'm going to go under the assumption that he is who he said he is. You might not believe that, but I do. I believe he's the Son of God. I believe he is God in flesh. I believe that he was both man and God at the same time. Kind of an interesting situation, right? But he did some amazing miracles. But what did he do before he produced miracles? And this is what I find so fascinating, because if he is who he says he is, if he is God, then you would think that he doesn't have to do much that is different, right? Now, what makes Jesus amazing is both God and man. So he does things that we can do. And if we follow these principles, perhaps we can also have a miraculous breakthrough in life too. So I'm going to go through Matthew chapter 4. Matthew chapter 4. And what's cool in Matthew is, and let me read this, right? Matthew chapter 4, verse 1. Then Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. So this is going through Jesus' life. Before his public ministry, he's led into the wilderness and he's being tempted. So if you've ever been tempted, if you've ever gone through stuff, hey, even Jesus was tempted, right? But this is what's interesting. And after he had fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, he then became hungry. And basically, it goes through in this situation where he talks about how he got tempted. He got tempted by trying to control everything. He got tempted with food. He got tempted with bowing down to Satan himself, basically, right? Side note, the devil's number one temptation is to make you feel like you can be God instead of God being God, right? That's kind of how the devil does things. And he does this by giving you lies that are almost true, but they're not true. And if we believe those lies, then he does everything, right? But this is what's so fascinating. Jesus, before he did his miracles of raising the dead, of healing the sick, of doing all the different things, he had a period of fasting. Fasting is disconnecting yourself from the world so you can reconnect with God, right? Prayer, which is speaking to God, which is connecting with him. And Bible study, studying the word. In fact, it says in Matthew chapter 4, you know that he studied the word because when the tempter came and tempted Jesus, Jesus quoted the Bible. So Matthew chapter 4, verse 4, after the tempter came and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command that these stones become bread." Matthew 4:4 says, "But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but in every word that comes from the mouth of God." So it's very evident that Jesus studied the scriptures. Jesus studied the Bible because he wouldn't be able to quote something he didn't know. So here's the principles of how to achieve a miraculous breakthrough in your life: fasting, prayer, Bible study. Fasting, prayer, Bible study. You do those things and allows God's presence in your life to change your mind, to change the way that you do things in the world, and allows him to be able to manifest into this side. So, how does this work? I'm going to share with you an image out of the book. And this principle, if you understand, it's going to change your life. We understand that we as people are three parts in one. We are body, we have a body. We have a soul or a mind, and we have spirit, mind, and body. We have those three things, right? If you want to achieve a breakthrough in your life, a breakthrough is what we would consider a result. So if you want a result in your life, you have to go upstream of what's on that result. The result is caused by an action. For example, if you want to lose weight, the action you take is to eat less and burn more, for example. Yeah. So in order to achieve a miraculous breakthrough, which is the result we're looking for, and you can fill in the blank of what that means to you, we must change our action. Now, how do we change our action? Well, we have to change the emotion, the thought that leads to that action. And emotions, thought, they come from our mind. Now we go upstream, right? That mind has a conscious and a subconscious. And most of the actions we take are actually because of our subconsciously held beliefs and thoughts, the things we don't actively think about, rather than what we consciously think about. However, upstream from the mind is spirit. And spirit is God. And here's the issue. The reason why most of us are struggling to have major breakthroughs and miracles in our life is our minds, which are the upstream that lead to the actions that lead to the results in our life. Our minds are typically more influenced by the things of this world rather than by God. So follow this logic here. If you want a miracle, which I do, then we need God. Because God is a miracle, right? Miracle means it's supernatural. That means it's out of the natural. That means it cannot be from us, right? A miracle is something that we can't even describe, right? And do miracles still happen? Yes. God is the same. God has not changed, right? He is who he is. God is a miracle. Anything he does is a miracle, right? He's the only one that could do that, right? We're limited in that sense, but he's unlimited. So if we want God's presence in our life, if we want a miracle in our life, then we need his presence in our life. If we want a presence in our life, then we need to be influenced by him more. So what does fasting, prayer, and Bible study do? Fasting, prayer, and Bible study are the three spiritual habits that if you implement are the ways to disconnect yourself from the influences of this world and influence yourself to have the influence by God's world. Does that make sense? If you want miracles, we need God. If you want God, we need to do the things that can get us closer to God. You fast to disconnect yourself. You pray to reconnect yourself. And you study the Bible to have God connect with you. And it's so fascinating that Jesus, who is both God and man. And that's what's so cool, right? It's like this interesting situation. It's hard for us to grasp because God's ways are not our ways. His thoughts are greater than our thoughts, right? There are just some things that won't exactly make sense. How can someone be both man and God at the same time? That's hard for us to comprehend because we are finite creatures, finite beings, right? And we understand things in a certain way. But what's interesting about Jesus is he let go of his divinity while he was God, so he can live as a man, as a person. And when he lived as a person, he did things as a person, meaning that if we do the things that he does, then we can have similar types of results that he could have as well too. So it's interesting that even for him, in order to produce miracles, he fasted, he prayed, and he studied the Bible. He fasted, he prayed, and he studied the Bible. And when he did that, then it says that the tempter left him. After that, he had 3.5 years of public ministry, and he casted out demons and he raised the dead, and he was able to, do some crazy, crazy miracles that are pretty intense. But he did that as a man. So if we did those same things, not saying we're God at all, but if we got more influenced by God and we let our minds be influenced by him, it says in Romans 12:2, do not be conformed by this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. If we start to renew our mind with God and we start to do what it is that he says to do, we fast to disconnect, we pray to reconnect, and we study to have God connect with us. Wouldn't that mean that breakthroughs will happen in your life? Wouldn't that mean that miracles will happen in your life? Why? Because we're being influenced by him more than by anything else. And when I started to understand this, and we start to implement these into our lives, everything changed for me, and everything will change for you as well too. So I wonder what you think about this. The key to your miraculous breakthroughs is doing things God's ways. And Jesus is our number one model of exactly what to do. And it works. So if this is something that encourages you, I'd love to hear comments below and your thoughts on this. If you like some help on this as well too, I'm launching a book called The Miraculous Breakthrough Formula. It's a 7-day challenge, biblically guaranteed to help you get unstuck and achieve the impossible. Talking and detailing out exactly how this all works and everything. If you're interested in more information on something like that, I'd love to gift you with a free gift. But if you're interested, I have a free video I'd love to share with you. If you want that, if you're on my YouTube or my Facebook, click on the link and you can grab a free video that talks about one of the elements of this breakthrough formula. If you're interested in more, or if you're on my other platforms, click on my link in the bio, and it's one of the first links, and you can grab your first video there as well too. But it's amazing how God puts these principles in our lives that each and every single one of us can still access today and achieve the most amazing, amazing things. So if this encouraged you, like this, share this, and subscribe to our YouTube. Put this in a ton of cool content there as well too. Turn on your notifications because we go live a lot. Other than that, God bless. Have an awesome, awesome rest of your day. Bye-bye.